My car is extremely dirty right now. I haven't washed it in months. Oh man, it's gross. Trash in here. It needs to be vacuumed out. So what I'm gonna do today, instead of just running it through one of the machines, I'm gonna take it to an actual car washing, I don't know, shop or whatever, and get it professionally done, because for one, it needs it, and I can't just wash it here at my house. So I'm gonna take it, like I said, and go get it detailed. It is, what's today? It's October 5th, Saturday. Beautiful day outside. Driving in Japan. You know, it's how is it different from America? Well, obviously the steering wheel's on the right side, everything's kind of flipped. You drive on the left side, you know, but for the most part, you know, driving's driving once you get used to it. The one thing that's, you know, of course, the gas pedals on the right, brakes on the left. You know, if you're driving a manual, you're gonna have to get used to, you're gonna have to do it with your left hand instead of your right. But mine's automatic, so I don't have to worry about that. The blinker and the windshield wiper, they're on opposite sides, so you gotta, you know, blinker right side. So, you know, first time I took my test to get my driver's license here, before I took it, I was like, okay, Nick, do not turn on the windshield wipers, okay? Because when you pull out, when you're doing the driving test, one of the first things you have to do is you have to drive around the obstacle, and doing so, you have to put on your blinker, obviously. And so, when I pulled out and immediately turned on the windshield wiper, so that time I failed. Yes, I failed my driving test because I turned on my windshield wiper. Getting your license in Japan, it sucks. There are a few countries, if you're coming from Canada, I think maybe New Zealand, but there's a handful of countries where you can come here and basically you can just go down to the DMV, show them your Canadian driver's license and, I don't know, probably your passport or whatever, and they will give you a Japanese driver's license. But being an American, in most countries, you have to jump through all these fucking hoops and hurdles, and it's a process that nobody should ever have to experience. But if you want to drive a car in Japan, then you have to go through with it. And so, and being from Gunma, I've heard Gunma might be one of the hardest places to get a driver's license. It took me 6 times to pass. I know what you're thinking, like, what the hell, can you not drive? But honestly, that's about average, I think. I've met people who's it took over 10 times, you know, I've heard stories of 15, 20 times. Why is it so hard? Well, they make it hard because you can basically come here and show them your driver's license in your home country, and they have a process where you basically do a paper test. With the paper test is really easy. It's just like 10 true or false questions. Super easy. Like, you know, if you come to a stop sign or a stoplight and it's red but nobody's around, it's okay to go. Of course, you know, it's common sense questions. It's very stupid, whatever, like, oh, it's okay to pass ambulances and whatnot, you know. But it's the driving test that's tricky, it's hard, and it's it'll fucking drive you crazy, because basically it's not showing or not proving that you know how to drive. It's knowing that it's proving that you can pass their test. You know, like, it's kind of like I compare it to like a choreography. You have to like know each step of the way, like where to look, how fast to go. You have to over exaggerate your, you know, your mirror checking and everything. Andこんにちは。
こんにちは。
洗いたいんですね。
すみません、ちょっと予約がいっぱいで、
いっぱいある今日はね。
ちょっと20分くらい待っていただければ洗えるんですけど。
あ、大丈夫です。
大丈夫ですか？
大丈夫です。
すみません。
それで待ってるよ。どこ？
あ、中でお待ちください。
いいですか？
はい。
じゃあ車はこのまま？
車、はい、こちらで動かすんで、おかげだけ預かれれば。すみません。
やばいね。何 changed. これ僕の車は何サイズですか？
あ、L サイズです。
L size?
いや、L サイズです。
L size
ちょっとLL ですね。
exterior LL
LL ですね。一番下です。
あ、OK。いや大丈夫です。それでどうする？
あと室内もなんか前だけと両方があるんですけど、全体があるんですけど、それまた値段が変わってきちゃうんですけど、前だけと洗車込みで4270円、はい、であと後ろもと洗車込みで5760円。
ああ、なるほど。どうする？これがいいかな。
前だけでと洗車で。
そう。
はい、わかりました。あとプラス710円してもらうと、こちらのコーティングトリートメントっていって、ツヤと撥水が増すものが塗れるんですけど、それはどうされますか？
じゃあやろう。
やります。わかりました。お預かりいたします。
お願いします。
はい、すみません。じゃあ中でお待ちください。
はい。I don't know. That's pretty steep. I don't know if I want to pay $50 for a car wash. Let's see here. Let's not do that, and maybe let's just take it through the machine, and I can wash it later. Let's get the express wash, and yeah, let's not do that. Let's not do that. So yeah, I was looking at that. I have what's considered the biggest car, an LL, believe it or not, and just basic wash is like 32, and then he was showing me some other, you know, vacuuming and all that stuff. It's like 40, and then getting a coat would be another $7. That's like $50. Yeah, not gonna do that. I'm just gonna take it through the wash at just a regular gas station and dry it off and wash it myself, and it'll be better than nothing. So, but yeah, like I was saying, getting your driver's license here is a pain in the ass. It took me 6 times, like I said, and on the 6th time, I knew I was gonna pass, because each time you fail the test, they always tell you, okay, you need to practice a little more. And so it's bullshit. You know, you can fail for literally when you turn right, you know, not hugging the line enough. They'll say, oh, you need to be a little bit closer to the line, so practice a little more and come back. You know, all they need is just one little thing to fail you, and they will. And it's like it's a fucking headache. It sucks. Each time you take the test, there's about I think each time I did it, there was about 20 people that did it. No more than 2 people passed it per session. And so sometimes nobody passed. They came out and they were like, sorry, everybody, you know, come back, try again. When I passed, I was the only one that passed. And so it sucks. You know, it's a great feeling when you do pass, but man, especially for me, it was a pain in the ass, because I can only do it on Mondays, because on Tuesday through Friday I'm going to a different city, and Monday is the only day I'm in Maebashi, actually, at my kindergarten. And so for me, it's extremely hard. So every time I failed, I had to wait an entire week. And so, and also at my company, I'm the only teacher, so I had to find a substitute teacher to come to my schools and teach for me. You know, my boss was okay with me getting a driver's license, but he was like, look, you know, you need to find somebody that can substitute for you and come and teach and do these lessons. And so I had to get on Facebook and go to the, you know, the GUMA ALT page and ask for favors, and that was, some of it was, you know, I paid them too out of my pocket. You know, I think it was like 40-50 bucks a day to come and help me out. I think I had total 4 people help me out. 2 people did it twice. Michelle, if you're watching this, thank you. You did it twice for free, because you know, you just know how fucking how shitty it is. And so thank you very much, Michelle, and everyone else that helped me out. Honestly, I know sometimes other people that did help me out, you were looking for jobs and you needed the money, and I'm glad I helped you out at that time. So, but like I said, I went to Takasaki. I went to the driving school. For an hour, you take this test, or you don't take the test, you practice with somebody in the car with you. They show you exactly what you need to to do to pass the test, how fast you need to be going on each curve, on each turn, whatever, and then where you need to look, everything so specific. And so not only that, I had the receipt and the card, the members card that you get from the driving school. So when I went to the driving center, I put that on top of all my papers, and I was like, look, I went and practiced. But even when you pass, it's great, but at the same time, like I said, there's 19 other people that failed. You don't want to get too excited, because when they put your number on that whiteboard, you want it's a sigh of relief, but at the same time, you feel for those other people, right? And so, like, I've been driving in Japan now for 7 years. I love it driving here. It's a lot different from back home where I'm from. I live in Lubbock, Texas. I grew up in Lubbock, Texas, and that city is on a grid. It's north, south, east, west. There's not many curves, there's no mountains. But here, the streets are a lot narrower. You have beautiful mountains and rivers and everything to drive through, and the sceneries here is great. And so you got to be careful, because here there are a lot more pedestrians and bicyclists, so you have to always keep an eye out for them on every turn. Double check, triple check every time, so but yeah, I love driving here. It's because it feels like you actually have to drive, especially, like I said, when you're going to the mountains, you're actually hugging the curves. And like back home, you're just driving to get from point A to point B. But here, it's a little bit more enjoyable, I think. So like I said, you're pulling in, and you got to watch out for a bicyclist every time. Now let's try this place, because it's not going to cost me an arm and a leg. All right, let's do that. We're gonna do this high pressure wash right here. 16 bucks. Yeah, let's do it. Let's just do all of it, because like I said, I haven't washed my car in forever. Yeah, I don't need to worry about that. Let's see, 20 bucks. All right, let's just do a quick little time lapse. Go. $50 or $20. I think I'll take 20 every day. It's nice though, this place right here. You can, I'm gonna use their vacuum, which costs $1 to use, and then they give you these towels where you can, wipe down your car inside, do your windows and whatnot if you want to. One thing I do need though is, wish I had some tire spray. All this is burnable trash right here. Moe to go on me. You got your pet bottles, your cans. Can goes in here. Nick, what are you doing? All right, the finished product. Okay, let's go home. But yeah, I will finish it up with this. I'm sure you're wondering, about the driving test. Why do they fail so many people? Why is it so difficult? I would say, one, it's probably they do want to make sure you are capable of driving, obviously. There was, like I said, it's really easy to fail the test, but at the same time, there was times when each time you take the test, you ride in the back while the person in front of you drives, and so when they're done, you hop in the driver's seat and somebody else hops in the back seat. And so one time I was riding in the back, and the lady, she like was hopping curbs, and you know, she was just not a very good driver. So understandably, I was like, okay, yeah, you gotta fail her. She definitely needs more practice. But times I've failed was, yeah, I turned on my windshield wiper, you know, but my driving was okay. There was one time, like I said, I didn't hug the line close enough, I guess, when I was turning right. There was one time when I was going just a little bit too fast, he said, around a turn. And so all little things, like, you know, you would think, okay, just be cautious of that. Like I said, yes, sometimes there are some people who they do need more practice, but most of the time, no, it's just dumb shit that they fail you over. So why do they do that? Well, I think it's just a money pit. You know, each time you take the test, it costs like $25-$30 to take the test. And so if you're failing these people 15, 20 times, you know, or 10, whatever, you know, you're just getting paid each and every time for that. And there's nothing you can do about it. It's not like you can, you know, what are you going to do? Lawyer? I mean, there's just nothing you can do. You're at their mercy. So if I was going to do it over again, I would go to the driving school at the very beginning and learn exactly how you're supposed to drive on the practice course. So when you get there, you know, there's nothing that's going to throw you off. You know exactly what you need to do. And even though, like, even now, there's probably all kinds of online forums and, you know, other YouTube videos of telling you like what you need to do. But, you know, I did that, you know, I looked at those, but it's not quite the same. You know, you gotta, you know, there's always one little thing that you're gonna miss. And so when you go to the school, you're gonna learn everything. Like I said, you're gonna watch her drive for an hour, or no, one time, and then for the rest of that time, which you get an hour, you do the course over and over and over again. So I was able to do it 3 or 4 times I was able to do it like 3 or 4 times, and by then I was good to go. I knew exactly how to pass it. And so the following Monday, I did it on a Saturday, the following Monday I went up there, and like I said, I put my members card on the top of the papers and said, look, I practiced and whatnot. And so I felt pretty confident that day that I was gonna pass, just because, yeah, I did the test. And then, like I was saying, when you do the driving test, you ride in the back seat while somebody else drives. And so that day, nobody sat in the back seat when I drove and did my tests. You know, you go in sequential order. Like I said, there's like 20 people, and they break you up into 4 or 5 groups. And if you're number 1, you drive. Number 2 rides in the back seat, and when you're done, 2 hops in the driver's seat, 3 jumps in the back. I was, I think, like number 11 or 12. You know, so somebody should have been watching me drive. But before we all went, the guy that was doing my test, he goes, you know, he pointed at me and he said, hey, I want you to go to the back. You know, basically, because he knew I went to the driving school and I learned how to do the test. And so he didn't even want somebody to watch me drive, you know, to pick up any clues, to pick up, you know, because obviously I was going to pass that day. And so if somebody learned how, you know, how I passed, and I don't know, I just thought that was kind of fucked up too. But sorry for that. But yeah, anyways, if you're watching this and you're trying to get your driver's license in Japan, and good luck, man. It's a fucking pain in the ass, but once you're done, man, it's the best feeling ever. And driving in Japan is amazing, and I recommend it. If you're living in Tokyo, you don't really have to drive. You know, I lived in Tokyo for 2 years, and I sold my car, and the public transportation in Japan is fucking amazing. You can take the subways and trains and the buses and whatever. You know, you don't need it in Tokyo. And not only that, it's expensive, but out here in Gunma, you need a car, especially if you don't live close to the station. Even then, you know, you can't, you know, you're kind of stuck. You know, if you have a bicycle or whatever, you can get around. But for the most part, you know, it's, you know, I can get in my car and I can just go just about anywhere. And so anyways, I got a nice clean car now, and I hope you if you made it this far, thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time. Thanks for watching. Peace.